G-Man, you're a football guy. Did you watch Arsenal PSG?
I did, with a big smile on my face. 1-0 PSG.
You're to be for the record, you're a Manchester United fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I wanted more. I feel like it's not over yet. The tie's not over. Like Arsenal could still nick one.
1-0 at home to lose, it's not the end of the world. They go away to PSG. It's going to be tricky. It is going to be tricky. And you got to remember, if, say, Arsenal do pull a goal back, they've got one of the, and say it goes extra time penalties, they've got one of the best penalty stoppers in the world, PSG.
Yeah.
Liverpool will attest to that. Donnarumma.
Yeah.
You both have, well, you didn't have Kelleher that game, but he is up there, one of the best penalty stoppers in the world, Donnarumma. So it's an uphill battle for Arsenal. It just feels like it's PSG's time to do it this season. Like everything is set up. The funniest thing is Neymar, Kylian Mbappe, Messi all gone. Well, they should have won it then. But now it seems a more kind of united team, and I think it's set for them to win. It's got to be.
Yeah, you know what it is? They've got rid of the egos. There's no egos. No. You mentioned Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, Di Maria was around in that team as well. Yeah, so there was a lot of egos. Like, how do you control that? Like, who's going to do the running back? Like, who? Now they've got players that just want to prove themselves. That Kvaratskhelia, the guy they got from Napoli, I think he's just sensational. Like, honestly, like you rarely see wingers do that now. That just want to get the ball and just take you on. And now it's a case of they cut back and they do this, they do that. He, I think, is insane, and he was giving Timber fits throughout the game. So there's no way for me that they don't score PSG. So can Arsenal score 2 or 3? I'm not sure.
That's the question. They couldn't do it at home. They might Arsenal, they can get a goal. They did it at the Bernabeu. They can get a goal. Yeah. They got 2 at the Bernabeu. They can get a goal, but can they keep PSG back? I don't think they can. I think there's very few teams that can.
All right, for next week's episode on Ade and Gman Talk Football, make sure you tune in. We might do a football one. Like me and Gman both love our football. Hence why we always ask you guys to send in your questions about anything, not just boxing. But who knows? Me and Gman might do a football podcast sometime next season when the season starts. All right, let's get straight into the questions. Easy. Jennings is my guy. I'm not sure about that. All right, let's get straight to the questions. I've got one here. John Seaton, a member. Thank you very much for being a member, John. Says, great work. Pleasure to be a member. Question. You can only see one of these fights. Which do you pick? Boazzi versus Yard, Smith versus Benavidez. Smith Benavidez. All day long.
Easy.
Like it's not even, it's not even a tough question, John. Like for years, this is the problem, right? For years, I was on the Boazzi Yard hype train. The problem is, if you don't give me it, eventually I will wane off you. And I'm sorry. I love Boazzi and Smith as human beings. I know both of them personally. I'm sorry, guys. You've made me wait 5 years. All of a sudden, I want Smith Benavidez now.
And that fight is just carnage beyond. It honestly, there's only going to be one winner in that fight. It's the fans.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Like Smith showed us, like he's got a lot left, and Benavidez is like literally the boogeyman right now. So yeah. That's going to be a sensational fight. All right, which one have you got, dude?
We've got another member, Dylan Goodridge, 8276. I like this question. It's simple. How did you both first meet? I remember when I started my channel, I had less than 100 subs, and I reached out to you via email asking for advice. We had a WhatsApp call, and fast forward, 5 years later? Well, here we are. We are. Who would have thought that would have happened? I sure as hell didn't.
No, honestly, like G-Man's gone from obviously someone, like you said, that reached out to me to now someone I can class as a good friend. He's been to my house, not just the house I'm in now, but the house I was in Stratford. We did a little sit down there, and I feel like you only get to know someone when you're in their presence. And I thought it was a great guy, and we've just kept in contact. And I've always wanted to do something with G-Man. You guys have asked for us to do stuff together, but it's just been case of working out schedules. And then I thought, okay, let's just get this shit done. And so we started this podcast. And as G-Man said, I've known him now 5 or 6 years. And you know what's funny? I might be able to put a clip in. I don't know if I can have the time to put this clip in. About 6 years ago, I remember I showed you, G-Man, I was on my green chair in my flat in Stratford, and I was saying of channels that you guys should watch out for. And I said,
Yes.
Hatman. I mentioned a few, and I said, there's a guy called Gman as well. And I think this might have been before Gman reached out to me. So that means I've always kind of been championing sort of quote unquote smaller YouTube channels. At the time, he must have only had a couple of hundred subs.
Oh,
But that's how
brilliant.
much I watch people that do their stuff. And I've always been proud of G-Man.
Thank you, mate. And like
That's all right. That's all
I
right.
said, I would class you as a great mate as well. And it's just been amazing. It's been amazing getting to know you. It's been an amazing journey we've both been on, in just not with just this, but in our respective kind of what we would call it YouTube careers. It's been amazing.
It has been. All right, I've got one here from a member, Kayoshi84. Good question, this one. Which gym currently has the best stable of boxers? I'm going Andy Lee. Which is a big shout, but I'm saying Andy Lee with Shiraz, Whitaker, Donovan, Parker. that's solid, man. That is really good. Solid. You've got two fighters in Parker and Shiraz who are world level. You know, both of them have, one is a former world champion, one had a world title fight, which was a draw. You got Paddy Donovan, who I'm convinced can get to world level. And you got Ben Whitaker, who I'm convinced can get to world level. Who might already be there. So I'm going to say Andy Lee's got the best stable now, I think.
I concur.
Are we talking British boxing?
I think in general.
Then Robert Garcia.
Yeah.
And sorry, I didn't know we meant in general. Robert Garcia, number one. He's got Bam and Virgil. I'm sorry, that's number one.
Yeah. And he's such an amazing trainer as well. Ben Davison doesn't have a bad stable either.
You know, he's got
AJ.
Is he still got AJ? He's still got AJ?
Let's just assume he maybe does. He's got Moses.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
got Fabio Wardley.
He does a bit with Devin.
He's got Lee Wood. Lee Wood. I think Joe Cordina's there.
He's got a few up and comers as well. Like that.
He's got McCormack.
Yes, he's got that.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good stable. Yeah. That's a really good stable.
It's a really good
as
stable.
Well. Yeah.
So there's a lot of fighters.
There you go. We gave you 3. That's good.
All right. I've got a question here from John Space S1Q. And he says, who is your favorite female fighter? No, G-Man, not looks. I mean, in general, to watch.
See, they listen to you, G-Man. They listen to you.
That's very easy for me. If it was in terms of looks, I'd be saying Sky Nicholson, but not.
Why have you even got to go there? He said not looks, and you still got to mention Sky Nicholson.
I'm just saying. But in terms of my favorite female fighter to watch, it's an easy one. It's easy as hell. Sweet Poison, Gabby Fundora.
I concur without even blinking. Yeah. She is just a savage. She's a savage. And she's got the frame to go through some weight classes as well.
Oh, man.
So we can see her do some real damage. She was the female fighter of the year, right? So, yeah.
Do you want to know what's crazy? Is her and Sebastian, they both have fire about them. But she, honestly, she is way more vicious than Sebastian. And he's vicious. That girl is in the ring, like she just looks, they just don't look like fighters. But man, Sweet Poison, what a name. She is mean in there, man.
No, I think she's incredible. Honestly, incredible. All right. This one's come from Mayor Adam West 120. Says, who are your top 3 favorite footballers ever?
Oh man. There'll be some United players in there. Ryan Giggs is one of them.
Okay, go on. Do your 3 then. I'll do my 3. I'm happy to do my 3.
Ryan Giggs, Leo Messi. I'm not putting Ronaldo in there. I'm not putting.
No one asked you to put Ronaldo in there.
Because a lot of people would just assume he was United, true and true, but I'm not. I was never that big a fan. Ryan Giggs, Leo Messi, and then it becomes a struggle. I love Zidane. Zidane was he was epic. Actually, Luis Figo over Zidane because he was just business.
So what's your 3 then? Your 3 is what?
Ryan Giggs, Leo Messi, and Luis Figo.
I'm surprised as a United fan that you don't have Wayne Rooney in there. I'm a bit surprised.
I was never a big Wayne Rooney fan. He was a good goal scorer, but like I was never compelled to have a Wayne Rooney t-shirt. I always saw him as Everton true and true, who was just scoring goals for United.
Okay, I get that.
That's how I've seen him.
Mine, quite easy. Ronaldo, Brazilian. I think he's the greatest footballer I've ever seen in my life. Zidane, Steven Gerrard. So those are my 3. So Zidane, because he's just art. Ronaldo, Brazilian, was just forget about it.
Amazing.
And Steven Gerrard, because when Liverpool were crap, he gave me hope. That's my
Stevie G.
Stevie G.
One honorable mention, Kaká, pre-injuries, because he was just
yes, sir.
He was just something special pre-injuries. So I will just put him in there as an honorable mention. This question, what a name, the man who eats lemons.
Okay.
Right. To each his own. If you could redo the last 15 years, would you both do anything differently? I'm not sure you know how old I am.
Hell, damn.
Because I was a teenager 15 years ago. I'm quite a young teenager too. So would I do anything differently? I don't know. Maybe some relationships I was in, if I could go back, I wouldn't. But if I did things different, I wouldn't be where I am now.
That's always the answer, isn't it? Like, if you change something in your past, does it affect your future? I've been through so many hardships financially, just relationships with family, friends that have gone sort of left a little bit. And I'd like to think that I could change some of those, just my behavior towards those people. But the hardships that I've suffered personally, they've shaped me today. So I would say no, I wouldn't. Like, even living in a homeless hostel, sort of sofa surfing with friends, like just trying to find somewhere to sleep at night. I wouldn't change that because it's hardened me today and it makes me appreciate where I am today as well. But honestly, it's a great question because I think a lot of people, when I get it, would say, yeah, they would change something.
And I think they're the people who, in the nicest way, they tend to kind of be those ones who they have a dream, but they never go for it. You know, it took a lot for me to actually it took a lot going wrong for me to make my YouTube channel, which I now look back and say they were some of the best things that could have ever happened to me. At the time, they were crap, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be sat here chatting to you. So no, I wouldn't change anything.
Okay. All right. This one's from Mitta. Says, hey, Ade and Gman, if boxing plans to move from promoter-based to league-based, do you think starting a boxing league in Africa could work? To open the door in Africa, to open the door for African boxers to showcase their talent and break into the international market. Your thoughts? Yeah,
that's a good.
I do think that could work. It'd be nice to see, like, just an African league, but then the top of that league almost qualify, if you like, to then get on the big shows, so to speak. So we know it's a top talent coming through because they're the number one in Africa.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that. There's so much talent in Africa. Look at the size of the continent. So much talent in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Zimbabwe. They just are not nurtured properly. It's embarrassing.
No, they're not. And I think a lot of the times, a lot of the fighters end up getting short notice gigs in the UK and we don't see the best of them because there are shows on up and down Africa every week. Like every week, it's impossible not to find shows in Africa. There's got to be some amazing talent that's just going completely under the radar. There has to be.
Yeah.
So I think we'd see a lot of great talent.
There actually is a fight card that the Zone is showcasing in Ghana the 14th of June. Ahara Davis is on the card.
Yeah, I seen that. Amir Khan.
Yeah. Andrew Tabiti. Andrew Tabiti's on the card as well against a Ghanaian. Amir Khan Promotions. Napa, who was obviously that big security guard alongside Eubank Jr. I think he's going to be out there for it. So they're trying. The new president of Ghana, his son's a massive boxing fan. So I think it's alongside him. So they are trying to put a bit of money into it now. Yeah.
I hope so, because that's one thing I'd absolutely love to see is a big show like Martin Bacoli, Joshua, hypothetically, in Africa. I think it'd be amazing. Yeah,
they reached out to me to be a part of it, but I said I couldn't do it, so which is a shame because I'm scheduled to do something else. Yeah. I'll be at the Club World Cup, so I was a bit gutted because I've been championing African boxing for years, and finally there's a show, maybe not a big one, but there's a show that's going to have some money behind it. It's going to look good, and I really wanted to work on it. So I'm trying to work out, is there a way I could somehow do it and just get a private jet back? I don't know. But no, I can't. Epic. All right, what have you got?
Right. I've got Richard the Fort, and he says, Ade and Gman, love the show. They give awards out for sports podcast. Is that the goal this year to win? And also, what other ideas do you have for the show? Love it. Always watch it Friday lunchtime, Bruin Sandwich and Ade and Gman. Do they give awards out for sport podcasts? now?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Loads.
Really?
I mean, there are loads that we can apply for. Yeah, absolutely. There are
Oh.
so many awards. There's awards for awards. Now, I'm joking. There's an award show for the best award, which is that. So I'm not really big into awards, but we can certainly apply for a couple. I want to quickly jump ahead and answer that one. There's loads planned. Like, I want me and G-Man to do a live together,
Oh, yeah,
and I
of course.
mean live with an audience. So I'm talking about, I'm looking at a few, and G-Man doesn't even know this yet. So I'm telling G-Man as well. I'm looking at a few venues in London that host about 200, 300 seats, sell food, sell drink, and me and G-Man will be there. The green chair will be there, and we're just going back and forth, and you guys are answering questions. And I want us to be live at events as well, where we have boxers that come in, sit next to us, and we interview them, and we cover like the press conferences and weigh-ins, all live from like a setup. That's the plans I have for it. Not easy, but definitely doable.
Oh, we will get there 100%. But winning an award for this, man, I would be that'd be something else. That would be something else.
We can definitely, we deserve it. We deserve it. All right, this one from Absolute Boxing. It says, what are your guys' opinions on Usyk talking about his next fight after Dubois being Fury or Joshua again? Don't need a trilogy for either, in my opinion.
I would agree.
I actually agree as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know. Usyk's talked about fighting some MMA guy for his final fight, but with Joshua
it
Fury,
was until that guy lost. He was talking about fighting Alex Pereira, but Alex Pereira lost about a month ago, so that's now done.
Well, to be honest with you, if he has one more fight, have it against someone new. Have it against a Joseph Parker. What's the point? It's not like there's any controversy with those two fights that he had with Joshua and Fury. He won them both pretty handily, so there's no need for a trilogy fight. I don't think there's any demand there for either of them. So it could be Usyk, mentioning names, but nah, I agree with Absolute Boxing. I wouldn't want to see it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like for me, if Bakody looks devastating against a Jagba, if Parker fights Cabello, the winner of that one, I mean, Usyk's got to stop pretending there aren't other fighters out there. There are other fighters, and I get it. Usyk wants to be in the biggest fights at this stage of his career, but Usyk, you made some good money. Give other people chances now. Give the winner of maybe Bakody or Jagba a chance, and if Parker fights Cabello, give them a chance.
Maybe he just enjoys beating up British fighters.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe he does actually. No, he's bashed up quite a few. How many has he beaten? 5?
Bellew, Chisora, Dubois,
Fury,
Joshua,
AJ Dubois. Yeah, 5. Bashed up 5. Damn. Go on, what you got?
Ian Hamilton, non-boxing question. If you both had a time machine and could go back to one period, which one would it be? Mine would be France 1789, madness and chaos, and he is a member as well. Big up to him. That's an easy one for me. Ancient Egypt, the Old Kingdom. I want to see that artistry. I want to see it because that's when they built all the monuments, the big ones, the pyramids and stuff. That's when they did it, the Old Kingdom. Because loads of people are like, Cleopatra. No. Go right back 4,500 years ago. Yeah, I would.
I would like to go back to a time when Africa wasn't invaded by the likes of Belgium and France, just to see kind of what it looked like. Because in my head, and I'm probably so wrong here, I've got this feeling it looked like a bit like Wakanda. And I'd like to see it because I go back to Nigeria a lot and I can see how it's just been ruined. And I'm not necessarily saying by ruined by sort of colonial times, but just been ruined by colonial times and they haven't recovered from it. So I'd like to see what Africa looked like just visually. I just got a picture of this amazing. like green trees everywhere and I've got this weird picture of how it would look like. So I'd like to have seen that, but if not then, I'm trying to think. Maybe the world pre-war, so pre the First World War, and see what sort of London looked like pre-war. Yeah.
You can see the old clips of it, and I know it's in black and white. It's very difficult, but it looked interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. All right, where are we? 2 seconds. Okay, this one from kind of similar to what we've always, but T. Toffet says, Ade Gman, politics aside, which is harder this one, how would the African event you talk of look? Well, Ade does if it was to take place this year, I know this seems more like fantasy. Okay, so how would the African event look, politics aside? I mean, there are so many African fighters. And it maybe, look, ultimately, it doesn't have to be African fighters. I just want a big event in Africa. But the main event for it to be there would be AJ Bacoli or AJ Wilder.
Oh, yeah, it would be. I think, I would imagine it would look something similar to the Rumble in the Jungle. You know, a big arena, lively fans, and I can imagine African fans would be absolutely
the noise and music would be
incredible.
Oh my god, dude, it would be sensational. Just that alone.
If it was, say, Bacoli versus AJ, the ring walks would be like nothing we've ever seen. They would just be amazing. They'd have the music. It would be, honestly, that's why I'm desperate to see it. I really want to see a big show in Africa because I think that people who would look at the Rumble in the Jungle and can see it on YouTube, they'll get their own experience. It won't be as big a fight as that was, but they'll be able to see why it was so amazing. And we need it. We absolutely need it. If you're a world champion, Africa is part of the world. We need to get something.
Exactly. And then what you do, you inspire the next generation.
Exactly.
I mean, you inspire them, right? And I think that's super important. And then again, there are so many African fighters. I mean, Lawrence Okone's African, F.A. Jagba, Richard Riakporhe, Joshua Boatsi, Terence Crawford. That motherfucker definitely African. That guy there, he's definitely African. Terence Crawford. He needs to do his DNA test. But there are so many. Derek Chisora. There you go. So there are loads. Moses Italma.
Yes.
Whose dad, I believe, is Nigerian.
Yes.
So there are quite a few. There are quite a few. All right. You got any more?
I do. I have one here from Auditing London, and it's an easy one. Do you think Billy Joe could come back at light heavyweight and win a world title? No.
Absolutely not.
He ain't coming back. Did you see him the weekend?
I couldn't believe the size of him. So, first of all, we've got to be realistic. There's no way on this planet he can get down to 175. There's no way. That's a guy that was around 220, the guy that I saw on the weekend. And he's not fought for... Yeah,
4 years.
Maybe. And is it 4 years, that Canelo fight?
4 years.
Yeah.
I only went back and rewatched it the other day. It's a shame because he looked like he'd loads left. Not like in the fight, looked like he was done by the end, but it looked like as a whole, he'd loads left in the tank for his career, which is so frustrating that he just decided to go and eat himself up to 240 pounds. It looked more like he was weighing.
Yeah, he's certainly not living the life, is he? This one from T-Bacon_5588. Eddie talking about Conor winning a world title at 154 pounds. Honestly, how do you think he gets on against Virgil or Mutazaliev?
Bad. Simple as. Very bad. He has a good chin, but it's not that good. Those two. Oh, boy.
That there is actually a very scary prospect for me. Like my hand just shook. And my hands were shaking just reading it out. Virgil Ortiz. Like, who is just, nah. I love Conor, but stop.
You have to remember, 154, even when you take the champions out of the equation, the contenders are absolutely lethal. So
Virgil Ortiz and Mutazaliev would chin Eubank.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. No,
they'd both chin Chris Eubank. Yeah, no hesitation whatsoever. They're both knocking out Chris Eubank Jr. And I mean this. I'm not even trying to play excited here. I think they both chin. So, nah. Sorry.
No way.
Yeah.
Right. I have one here more from Jordan Gleason White, and it says, Ade and G-Man love the show, but I'm upset with G-Man. 1, he said my name wrong last week. 2, I'm a woman, not a man. Apologies. But I'll give him a pass. Apologies about that. My question is, are you both fans of all sport like rugby, football, tennis, etc.? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's very few sports I wouldn't watch. Very few. I mean, I like playing golf, but
go on. Give me your top 5 sports. Top 5 sports.
Boxing, football, F1.
In order.
No, this is it. So boxing, football. So number 1 is boxing. Number 2 is football. I'd say F1 is number 3. Darts number 4. And then 5, I'm going to say MMA. Actually, yeah, MMA.
Okay. Mine would be. It's funny from a watching standpoint. I'll say, look, football's number 1 by a million miles. Number 1. Then boxing, then athletics,
Oh yeah.
then tennis, then basketball, but specifically the NBA. Like I don't watch any EuroLeague stuff. But then I love watching a bit of darts. I love watching sort of big rugby, what like Six Nations World Championships when they're on. I don't really watch like the autumn series and stuff like that. But the fact I even know what an autumn series is would tell you that I watch a bit of rugby as well. And because I used to work in the bookies when I was 19, I worked in William Hill. I started to get into horse racing. So I kind of like a bit of horse racing, but nothing too serious.
Yeah, I'd be a bit like that as well. I would watch like if the Lions are playing, you know, the Irish English Lions, stuff like that in rugby. I'd watch that. Cricket, you know, the T20 and stuff like that, the internationals, the World Cups. So as you can tell, there's not many sports that we wouldn't watch. I remember Sky at one stage used to have a professional fishing on, and even I actually had a glimpse of that when I was younger now and again. Yeah, because I was like, if it's on Sky Sports, it must be something. So when it comes to sport, there is literally very few that I couldn't sit down and watch.
Okay, this one's quite a long one, but we'll kind of, I'll read it out anyway. It's Pro Boxing M6E says, what did you think of Don Charles calling Usyk a cheater, accusing him of conning the public, the boxing world, questioning his faith? Why are British media always making concessions for Dubois and his team and their disrespect? I thought that was disgusting. You have Don Charles questioning which God he prays to, questioning the man's faith and integrity, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get it. You know what it is? It's all fair in love and war when it comes to boxing, unfortunately. It's a mind game thing with Don. I've known Don for years. And I'm not just saying this sticking up for Don, but I've known Don for years. And one thing they know about Usyk is that you can't crack his head. Fury tried, AJ tried, literally he's impenetrable. You can't get through to him. Don's just trying to get into the mind and psyche of Alexander Usyk. I'm telling you, once the fight's all over and once this is done, Don will reach out to him, apologize, handshake, all that kind of stuff. He's just trying to play mind games with him because he knows he's got a fighter that won't say anything. So Don's almost having to take it upon himself to do it. Look, Don's got his son involved. Yeah, Don's having to take it upon himself to do something. Yeah. So don't go too hard on Don. Don's a great guy.
I did think the mind game kind of backfired a bit when he asked Usyk yesterday, which God do you pray to? And he said, Jesus. And he goes, what am I jealous of? And then he says, Jesus. No, Jesus. And he goes, I'm jealous of Jesus. I was like, mate, that backfired spectacularly, Don. That really did. It's the lack of English. It's the lack of English for Usyk, because Don thought, I've got him with that. And when he said Jesus, I'm not jealous. It's like,
yeah, he does that with Fury. Like when Fury was trying to play mind games with him, Usyk would pretend he doesn't understand the English. So he'd get a translator to translate it and then translate it back again. And by the time Usyk answers, it's done. It's dead. The moment's gone. So he's very, very smart, is Alexander Usyk. All right, final one. Go on. You've got one more?
From Freya. Easy one. Ade and Gman, my two favorite guys. What is your favorite place to eat in London? I haven't been to Fallow yet, and if it's near Leicester Square, I really want to go. The place I was thinking of bringing you to, because I want to treat you to a meal there, is in Old Street, near Old Street Station, called Gibney's, and they do a flipping amazing burger. It's amazing.
Okay. It's funny because obviously I've become a bit bougie. and and I've started to eat in restaurants that I could never afford to eat in my life. But there's a hook to this. They're crap. All those restaurants with their little fancy food. Sometimes it looks like going to a nice Nigerian restaurant in a place called Maryland in East London, Stratford, where I get a bit of jollof rice, a bit of chicken, a bit of plantain for £7, a bit of stew on top, and I'm a happy man. All these fancy things. And plus, me and G-Man have a little pub spot we go to. I don't want to tell everyone, don't say what it is. It's our spot that we go to, a little shisha, a little drink, a bit of food. And that's probably the best spot that we've got in East London. But I don't want to give it away because it's almost like a little secret spot.
We haven't ate there yet. The food does look amazing.
Oh, I've ate there a few times. Food's incredible.
Oh, because a few times we've seen guys get it and they've been like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah, a bit of salmon. They do a little, they do like real posh food, if you like. But they also do burger and chips, chicken burger and chips. So, and it's really affordable as well. So, I might invite a few members down there actually to come and smoke a bit of shisha with me and G-Man and talk some boxing. Nice who never knows? All right, G-Man, there you go. Episode, I have no idea what number.
I think,
8?
yeah.
I think I might be right. I think it's 8.
It is. I think it is. We've done a load of these
Yeah.
Q&As. We're losing track of these now, mate.
Yeah, we're doing loads. Guys, look, this one will go out to the members first, and then I'm going to let it out to the public. If you want to become a member, please do. It helps support the channel. Me and G-Man have got so many ideas and things we want to do. Again, the live meet and greet was one of those things. I want to really do it in a nice venue, which is going to cost a couple of quid. So if you can become a member, please do. You got the Car Diaries, which is 2 episodes a week as well. And you just get the content a lot quicker than the non-members. So if you can support, please do. If you can't, no stress. You guys support me enough by watching these videos. G-Man, catch you on the next one.